So in this video, we're going to be talking about why we went with Webflow, what makes Webflow different, and how is the experience for the client when working with Webflow. So, you want to start out with what kind of led us to choose Webflow in the first place?
Yeah, so as a fledgling company with a pipe dream of building great websites, we started out just looking pretty much the basic search, how do you build a website, which just seems so ridiculous now considering how much experience we've accrued over time. And we ended up first on Elementor. We had looked at Wix and the Shopify's, like the template made website builders, and we kind of decided that it doesn't really provide the experience like custom that we wanted to be able to deliver to clients. Although the turnaround time is really fast, it just wasn't really worth putting extra effort into. And if that skill cap is really high, if you want to do something custom, because then you need to learn how to be able to code really well to build more in these platforms. So easy to get into, really hard to master. Next, we looked at WordPress, which we started in. Our first website was actually in WordPress, and it was an absolute dumpster fire. It was not pretty, extremely difficult UI to learn. There's so many different plugins that you had to be able to master. Plugins update, and it can break an entire website if your plugin gets an update. Not a fun time.
Yeah, which we've seen a couple times already.
We've had clients that have had very, very bad problems with their WordPress websites, and we've had to convert over. And they don't complain too much now when they're on Webflow.
Yeah, so with the options we were looking at, we were looking at drag and drop options like Wix, Squarespace, and then you had WordPress, which is a lot less user-friendly, and there was kind of no balance in between custom code and then something that was completely plain, like Wix, drag and drop. There's just no customization, and I think that's when we came across Webflow. I'm pretty sure it was one of those funny little Webflow commercials that kind of introduced us to the topic. Yeah. And then we were like, this is the software we're going to use. Webflow is the superior platform for building websites, and we're going to talk about why Webflow is different and what makes it better than WordPress, Wix, and Squarespace. Yeah.
So Webflow, when it comes to the ability to customize, it has the customization of WordPress with the added utility and kind of closed garden feel, almost like Apple, in their software and what they use and the tools you use to build. When it comes to Shopify, Wix, Squarespace, etc. Or is it Square? I'm pretty sure it's actually Square, but
might be Square.
Might be Square. Maybe it's not.
Squarespace, I think.
Yeah. Might be Squarespace. So, they're so easy to confuse. But when it comes to Webflow, all the options are open. It's a visual designer, and it makes the time to design drop down drastically. It becomes a lot easier to make really beautiful looking websites that clients are just love. They're going to love.
Yeah, some amazing work in Webflow, and really a lot of the websites I've seen built in Webflow, there's no website that even comes close to comparing with them unless it's like a massive corporation's website. But that's what's beautiful about Webflow, is you could build a website that's so custom and it just looks so branded and unique because it's completely custom, built with Webflow's tools, but it's actually built for a fraction of the cost of what it would take to build
a fraction of the time.
Website.
Definitely a fraction of the time as well. When it comes to complex interactions and making things that make people want to stay on the website, you don't have to spend the countless hours custom coding. When Webflow provides the tools for you, is incredible. It's almost like animation systems, similar to you'd use in 3D production, where you're able to track tracked out different movements. You're able to do small amounts of logic. If you're going to add custom coded sections, once you get to that point in your developer skills, you can add those as well. All the options are open. And you can there are plugins as well. People are actually starting to expand on Webflow, and that's happening a lot faster. They aren't, they've grown past Webflow's base capabilities, and they want to see it do more because it can do more.
Just in the past few years, the capabilities of Webflow has gone up drastically, and they already have a lot of future updates coming out that's just going to make it so far from any competitors that I think it's not even going to be a question at that point.
Yeah, their e-commerce systems are going to be improving, their online stores, online selling. They're adding membership features, so websites will have full-fledged membership capabilities. And then also more in-depth logic, so more visual coding something popular in video game design.
Mm-hmm. Right, but as Clay said earlier, we do have those options now, but it's using third-party plugins, and you definitely can have like using plugins like MemberStack or combining a Webflow website with a Shopify website allows for a beautiful front end and then amazing back end that has data processing, order fulfillment, everything you might need, like Shopify's back end. Obviously, it's built for e-commerce, and then if you combine the two of them, it allows for just about any site you could imagine.
Yeah, the one platform that does have an advantage above all the rest, Shopify definitely kills it when it comes to the e-commerce space. There's no competing. Even WooCommerce doesn't even come close in my opinion. Webflow is probably at 40 to 50% of the feature set that Shopify provides in terms of its e-commerce flexibility. But as Dylan stated, if you could just combine the Shopify site with the Webflow site, you get all the advantages of Shopify with the advantages of Webflow, and that's the best thing the best situation you can have.
Yeah, if you're an e-commerce store, 100%. And so the last question is, what does the client experience look like when you're working with Webflow?
Yeah, so the front end for the client is fantastic. There's no other system like it with Webflow. You are able to get a login password, and you just click on any of the pictures, any of the text, and you can just change it like that. Mm-hmm. We're also able to build, so it's the CMS collections. It's one of the Webflow special features.
Right. And
we're able to design pages that the client is able to then enter, just like a form. It's like you're filling out your taxes. Mm-hmm. You just add your picture, you add your text, whatever you want to say, and you click the publish button, and it will generate an entire page.
Just like that. Boom, a beautiful page is completely made. You could use that for blogs, recipes, anything that might be consecutive posts.
Yeah, even running your own small SEO campaign. Mm-hmm. You as the client can run your own SEO campaign. Which is like there's
the ability to make a new page that easily and that quickly is amazing. Yeah. Obviously for SEO, you can make new pages, target new keywords, expand your site really with new content, and there's no system like it, I don't think.
Yeah, it makes the job a lot easier. When it comes to WordPress, there are similar features when it comes to their forms. You are able to custom make pages, but when it comes to the flexibility that Webflow provides and the the multi-reference system, so you're able to actually reference other collections and make really just beautifully working systems. There's absolutely nothing.
I mean, we've had a client where they were on a WordPress website beforehand, and when we switched them over to Webflow and gave them a basic intro to how to use the Webflow backend and everything, how to make changes, how to add new blogs using the CMS system.
Yeah, they took that and ran. They just immediately made these beautiful blogs, and I was like, oh my god, they built this in our CMS system. Yeah. It made me proud, actually.
No, I know. It's like somebody who's not a web designer is able to make these beautiful pages that easily, and they told us how much they loved the system and how much better it was than using WordPress, and they've been on other platforms too, and they said nothing compares to Webflow.
No, absolutely not. Another thing, again with client experience, is the just ease of making changes. For things that are on the design side where they're not able to actually change in their editor, or like adding new sections and such. It is so easy to just call up your web designer and say, "Hey, there's actually a funny ad for Webflow. Can you make all the buttons? Was it like blue or something like that? Make all the buttons blue." And usually that's a hassle. You have to go and go piece by piece. You have to go into all your classes, and it's like a whole mess if you're on other platforms. But with Webflow, you have this incredible system that, when used correctly, the style system can make your job 1,000 times easier, and it can just be a single change, and you can throughout the entire site globally change those features, and it cuts down on development time by a massive margin.
Definitely. As you learn to use Webflow, you learn to use the style system, the class system, it's going to make the job of any changes just so much easier.
Yeah, and cheaper for clients, because you're not spending extra time in this nitty-gritty development. You're not spending weeks, building the system that the site sits on or building the databases. Right. It's just you're making the changes, and then you're able to publish it instantaneously. You don't have to back up files, nothing. It's just easy.
Yeah, so I think that definitely wraps up the topics. Yeah. Today we talked about what makes Webflow different, why we chose Webflow, and what is the client experience in Webflow like. And I hope we were able to teach you guys a little bit about Webflow and why we believe that it is the best platform for websites right now. And I hope you guys liked the video. Definitely check out our website, Modern Age Marketing LLC. Check out our blog. We talk about anything ranging from what is SEO, what are keywords. You're definitely going to learn a lot from that website as well, so go check it out. And thank you guys.